So I know at least a few of you caught this news because you've been sending it to me, which I've already saw it myself. I just saving this video to do for Sunday. 2 Italian zombie banks toppled Friday night. This was in the WebBot reports a while back, like last year. Collapse of some banks from Italy. It's me, Mario. I'm gonna win. Or shut down a bank. Wolf Street is covering it. Of course, Zero Hedge is too, but I'm going with Wolf Street for this one. 2 Italian zombie banks toppled Friday night. European Central Bank, or ECB, shuts down Veneto Banca and Banco Popular di Vicenza. It's me, Veneto Banca. I'm gonna lose. When banks fail and regulators decide to liquidate them, it always happens on a Friday evening so that there is a weekend to clean up the mess. And this is what happened in Italy with 2 banks, not just one. It's over for the 2 banks that have been prominent zombies in the Italian banking crisis, Veneto Banca and Banco Popular di Vicenza in northeastern Italy. The banks have combined assets of 60 billion euros, a good part of which are toxic, and no one wanted to touch them. Now, I want to bring something up because I always have to bring this up when I see that word asset. Do you know the federal government, our federal government, considers, stand by. So, you know, our government considers student loan debt as assets. It's on the books as assets to the tune of 1.4 trillion in climbing. It never goes down, it only goes up. But that's an asset. Oh, interesting. They have a combined asset or combined assets of 60 billion euros. Again, a good part of which are toxic and nobody wanted to touch them. They already received a bailout, but more would have been required. And given the uncertainty and the messiness of their books, you know, cooking the books as they always do, nothing was forthcoming, and the European Central Bank, which regulates them, lost its patience. Speaking of, they just needed a little more patience. Had to. In a tersely worded statement, the ECB's Office of Banking Supervision ordered the banks to be wound up because they were failing or likely to fail as the 2 banks repeatedly breached supervisory capital requirements. Failing or likely to fail is the key phrase that banking supervisors use for banks that should be put in resolution or wound up under normal insolvency proceedings, the statement said. This is the first Italian bank liquidation under Europe's new single resolution mechanism regulation. The ECB explained. The ECB had given the banks time to present capital plans, but the banks had been unable to offer credible solutions going forward. Consequently, the ECB deemed that both banks were failing or likely to fail, and duly informed the Single Resolution Board, which concluded that the conditions for a resolution action in relation to the 2 banks had not been met. The banks will be wound up under Italian insolvency procedures. And the ECB provides a little history of its failed efforts to put these banks on the right track. ECB banking supervision has closely monitored the 2 banks since capital shortfalls were identified by the comprehensive assessment in 2014. 15, 16, 17 and a half. 3 years to 3.5 years, we'll say. It's a long time to wait. Anyways. Since then, the 2 banks have struggled to overcome high levels of non-performing loans and underlying challenges to their business models, which resulted in further deterioration of their financial position. In 2016, the Atlante Fund, Italy's government-sponsored bad bank set up in Luxembourg to take toxic assets off Italian bank books, invested approximately 3.5 billion euros, that is, in Veneta Banca and Banco Popular de Vicenza. However, the financial position of the two banks deteriorated further in 2017. The European Central Bank had therefore asked the banks to provide a capital plan to ensure compliance with capital requirements. Both banks presented business plans which were deemed not to be credible by even the ECB. You know it must have been real bad, right? So nothing worked. Private sector money stayed away in droves. JP Morgan, which had been recruited to save the Italian banks, threw in the towel. When JP Morgan declines a deal, but they're always going to make, they're going to be the guy who does the deal, they're going to pull some money in. Of course, they're not doing it for free. When they throw in the towel, boy, oh boy, not looking good. WebBot hit. WebBot hit. And before I'm finished this, I think I may go quickly try to find the WebBot. I'll pause it, but I'll see if I can find the actual WebBot report specifically about this. These banks had been zombies for just too long. Everybody knew it, but the government kept denying it, as government always does. Just weeks ago, Italian Ministry of Economic Pier Carlo Padone insisted that the two banks would not be wound down. He insisted, and they linked the story, where you can read it if you want. They will not be wound down. There's nothing to see. It's fine. We're solvent. Our banks are great. Wow. Last year, to dispel the mountain of evidence to the contrary, he insisted that there would be no need of any future bailouts, and that furthermore, Italy did not even have a banking problem. In early June, the two banks were instructed by the European Commission to raise an additional 1.25 billion in private capital. No one bit. Sorry, no bites. Italy's government then tried to persuade the European Commission and the European Central Bank to water down the requirement to just 600 to 800 million instead of 1.25 billion. And it urged Italian banks to chip in to the Bank Rescue Fund. All of that failed. So this weekend, the Italian government gets to sit down together for a friendly chat to enact the necessary measures to protect depositors and senior bondholders in those two banks. Stockholders will be crushed. Junior bondholders will likely get slammed hard, and the Italian taxpayer might face some additional pain. All of it caused by many years of terrible and reckless bank management. The saga of the long-festering banking crisis has thus moved on to the next chapter. A new era has been begun in Europe, and it started in Spain. Many Banco Popular investors were wiped out. Taxpayers are off the hook. So let me be the one to try to find the WebBot from 2016 report, and maybe some from earlier this year. I'll have to just kind of quickly browse for the word Italian or Italy and see what comes up. I'm going to pause this so you're not going to have to wait at all. Stand by. Wow, talk about fast. Let me tell you something. I have one going back to November 2015, and I've got one, starting in 2016, 2017. First one alphabetically at this point was April 2016. So I popped it open, searched for the word Italy. Italy. What page are we on here? Page 13 out of 32. Alta report, 2016, April. I'll start one little bit above. Other where is it? Other major new sets for Europop include large areas for collapsing social contract, as the economy and agreements to cooperate are shattered, as the euro degrades to a small fraction of its purchasing power, which, as you saw, 2016, 2017, the euro against the dollar, whoa, was it bad. It's changed a little bit recently, but still, that was a hit also. The data sets are bringing in bank failures and cross-border runs on banks. These last sets are filling with supporting values for major crowd problems, as tens of thousands of people react to rumors of open banks/ATM. Data continues to accrue for the Italian bank crisis, to overwhelm the EU structures at several different levels, such that the first cracks appear in the Union, and Italy, followed by both Greece and Portugal, makes moves to separate from Brussels. So this may be the beginning stage. You know, we had Brexit, Britain or UK leaving. So we may have Brexit. We may have Italexit. We may have Grexit. And for Portugal, I'm going to call that Prexit. Coming in the near future based off of this data from April 2016. Further issues are showing up for Central Bank and Brussels as command central, in that both corruption at the EU level and failures at the civil service level are going to make front page news for weeks as a result of a crime. It would appear from the data sets that a robbery by stealth at night will take a fortune and will, as well as liberate a large number of incriminating documents. The documents from the crime are showing as being made public by the criminals with something of a flourish or signature to their efforts. These documents are described as causing trouble for months. Other problems for the EU officialdom include the previously forecast naked women repel migrant hordes. These sets continue to build for the aftermath of this event being very thought-provoking, as well as creating viral sensation among the Muslim world. Now, if you recall, I do, and I don't know if it was, to be honest, I don't know if it was right, if it was after April 2016 or not, so I can't say for sure. Excuse me, but I remember seeing video and pictures of naked women in their like 30s, late 20s from Germany. I believe it was Germany. I'm pretty sure it was Germany. 2 or 3 of them in a big, large protest. People, cameras are there, everyone taking pictures. Basically saying, you know, this is my body. You can't, you know, have it or do what you want to me or whatever. In protest of what was happening with the migrants raping people and all that. So that's interesting because it kind of slipped by me until I just read it. Let me continue searching real quick just while I got this one open. Italy. Nope, that was it. How about Italian? That's the same one I found. Italian, nope. So the word Italy in Italian, literally in a 32-page report? 32-page report. The word Italy in Italian shows up one time in the same small paragraph that I read you. Which goes to show you, it picked up that little tiny bit, put it in the report. It's not mentioned anywhere else in the report to let you know about the Italian banking crisis. I am certain if I open up more of these right now and start searching through them, I will find more on Italy. But I don't need to, and I'm not going to, because this video is ending right now. I've already proved that the Webbot nailed it. So, off to another one. Take care.